Today. Rudy, hi. Okay, thank you for joining us today. My name is Malia Cohen. I'm a member of the Board of Supervisors. I represent the Southeastern neighborhoods, also affectionately known as District 10. I am very pleased to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you, Pastor Bryant and the Calvary Hill Church for hosting us today and opening up your wonderful sanctuary. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'd like to first introduce Mayor Lee. He will begin to talk to us in greater detail about some of our initial proposals that we're going to be presenting to you today to address our public safety challenges that we've recently been experiencing here in the southeastern part of the city. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Cohen, and I want to also express my appreciation for the other supervisors that are here and also have been engaged with us. Certainly Supervisor Alagi, who's here, Supervisor Weiner, who's here, and then last week, Supervisors Avalos, Campos, and others, Supervisor Chu, Supervisor Kim, had all weighed in on an ongoing discussion about our neighborhood public safety. I also want to express my very deep appreciation for our city's clergy community, the Interfaith Council, and certainly my personal thanks for today, Pastor Brian and his church and his staff for welcoming us all here in this very integral part of our city, and all the other clergy that are here, as well as the NAACP, represented by Pastor Reverend Amos Brown and his staff. Along with all of our other community agencies, from the police chief to our public safety clusters, our juvenile probation, adult probation, community-based agencies, our city administrator's office, and the number of community groups that have engaged me and my staff and all of the supervisors around this very serious question about our public safety in our city. No doubt, many of you have known and heard in the past couple of months my very deep concerns about our safety, particularly of our young kids, and particularly of our African American kids. Not everybody can be a Gabby or an Olympic hero in our sense. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can participate in all the 5,000 jobs that Eric McDonald and I and Hydra and everybody are creating in the internship programs that are paid that we signaled this summer. Not everybody can be successful in everything that we do to try to set up those conditions for people to be successful. And there are some who unfortunately touch our juvenile and adult probation criminal justice system, our DA, our police, and we try to find ways to correct that path and to create supportive mechanisms. And we are rich in services in many ways, with interventions as much as we can to redirect our youth or to help victims and their families as best we can. Sometimes not perfectly, but the best we can to assist them in their recovery on these personal tragedies that we hear too often happening in our own communities. And so it was right for me to talk about this in a very deliberate way, to talk to other mayors across the country and ask them what they are doing, to find out what is working and what is not working, and then to bring back that conversation in a very direct way to our own communities here in San Francisco. And I know every person who are standing beside and behind me love our communities, love this city. They wouldn't be here unless they did, from the labor groups to the clergy groups, to the community-based agencies. They really have a deep, deep love, and I know it. And I know that we've had these very sensitive discussions about these programs called Stop and Frisk that's been done in other parts of the country, and I had a chance to review them. Well, in agreement with our local leaders, in total agreement with the community-based agencies and the civil rights organizations that have had a very deliberate reason to engage me on this, we will not be implementing the Stop and Frisk program or variations of that here in San Francisco. We do not We do not wish to be distracted from the real reason we are here. We love our kids. We love our families in the Bayview, whether they're in Sunnydale or in Alice Griffith or in Potrero Hill or in Ping Yun or in the Mission. We love them so much that we have to do more to care for them. We have to find those connections. There are too many stories that we're hearing from our clergy when it's too late, when we're having those individual funerals, when our parents and our brothers and sisters are crying over things that have already happened, where the jobs that Mohammed and Eric are helping me create there didn't reach these unfortunate young kids, where our police commissioners and our police chief, working in concert with adult probation, juvenile probation, didn't quite get the person who signed these papers, put their names to it saying, I won't go back to where I was found with the guns, or associate with those very known individuals that are participating in gang mentalities. They signed those papers, and yet within days, they're found. We're not reaching them. We're not penetrating those kids. We have to step it up. And this is why our supervisors and I have been talking very, very deliberately to come together with all of our community groups to forge our own San Francisco plan, as we are just as serious about trying to get to these individuals and prevent crime from happening and prevent their lives from being destroyed. You know, we created over 5,000 jobs this summer. You can't give jobs to dead kids. That's just the reality of it. No matter how often we try, these kids, if we don't get to them now, if we don't prevent their truancy in middle school, if we don't redirect their interests in how to resolve a problem that they have, be it an individual case or some hatred or something that's going on in their lives. And this is why we're investing in a three-pronged approach today that we want to announce, a San Francisco-based program. The first, we are going to interrupt the patterns that we see out there. And I need everybody's help to interrupt these lives that are being wasted and going down. Because right now, whatever we're doing is not good enough to interrupt these patterns. And I'm going to ask the churches to step it up. I'm going to ask all of the law enforcement to step it up. And we have identified at least 100 to about 180 adults and young kids who have, in most cases, have touched the criminal justice system already. And we have to interrupt their lives right now and make sure the interruption is serious enough for them to pay attention. And then we have to do the two other parts of this program that are as essential, because interruption is only temporary. And we've talked about that. We've talked about how temporary that could be. Not good enough to just incarcerate a kid for a day or two in juvenile detention or cause them to have a probation. That's not enough interruption. We have to step it up. So while we interrupt, we've asked the police commission and the police chief to work with adult and juvenile probation to do better predictive policing in our communities, to work with all of us in the community to take a look at all of the data that we have, including anecdotal data, information that is given to us by people who are talking through their clergy or through their friends or through juvenile probation officers and others. Not to squeal, but to get better information so we can predict where the crimes will be connected again in a very specific way. And we know some of those areas already. They've happened over and over again. But predictive policing is about using the best data and the best systems that we have, not only to respond with officers on the street, as sensitive as they can be, but we also have to predictably and before the events happen, saturate those areas with our probation officers, with our crime prevention, with our CRN partners, with our Safe Patches partners and others that can help provide a deterrence on a sustained basis. That's predictive policing. And then the most important part of this three-part is community organizing, something that has never left me in all of the years and all the time that I've worked in public office here. It's always been about stronger community building. And this is where our youth advocates, our school advocates, our family advocates, our victim advocates, all of our church-going folks, as well as people that are not going to go to church, but might touch us on a community service basis, job training programs, job prevention programs, that we have to step it up in our community organizing and work even closer together to prevent and to provide alternatives before things happen, to suggest dispute resolution and abilities to argue is fine. But fighting and using violence as the answer, that's not an answer for anybody. So, so our San Francisco approach, one that has been derived from all of these very hard meetings that we've had to face each other down and say, well then, if we're not for this other program that is happening in Philadelphia and Chicago and New York, what do we stand for here? What are we doing actively to turn the tide here as these numbers tell us we're on an uptick? Well, we've got to interrupt. We've got to have better predictive policing with all the different law enforcement agencies. And we have to have probationary programs that really penetrate the isolation and the loss of hope that many of our youth and families are facing. And we've got to have stronger community organizing from the church, from all of the different religious-based groups, but from our community. And we got to build hope and faith in our young folks so that when we have jobs, and we've been told it isn't just the jobs. I can quote you numbers on end that we have jobs here in the tech, bio-life sciences, all of our city agencies that come together to provide paid internships. But it's about the training. It's about getting up every day. It's about having financial security. It's about creating hope that they can take care of others. And we've got to talk to the young girls of our communities as well. Not just young men, young girls as well. That they have to talk with each other and with us about how we can reach these young people in a very way so they're not signing these probation forms in a very empty kind of compliance way, but that they really mean that they want to change their lives around, and we have to provide that hope. We have to have everybody's cooperation. So this three-part program we are going to invest in. There'll be a budgetary priority, but also certainly this mayor and these members of our Board of Supervisors are going to work closely together to prevent more lives from being lost, and to also work with our housing authority and all of our community partners. But it begins with this pronouncement today. It begins with National Night Out. I think it's very appropriate that not only myself, but others in this room join in all of our communities to express our support and our love for our communities by being with everyone together in National Night Out. It's not just one event. It's got to be every night. We've got to have these conversations that reach all these families that could be hurt or already are hurt. That we got to restore and have restorative justice on our side working as well. So all of the efforts that we are announcing today may not sound brand new, but they are a reinvigoration of where our hearts are, where our minds are, and where our commitment is throughout the rest of the city. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also want to acknowledge President David Chu joined us, as well as Supervisor Kim is also here, and Olage and Wiener are with us as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your thoughtful words, and that's a wonderful, great epiphany. No stop and frisk. Did you guys hear that? Thank you. What is critical is that we need to begin to interrupt this cycle of violence, and there are 5 key things that I just want to recognize with you, to share with that we recognize the links between poverty and the lack of economic opportunity to to the propensity to commit crime, and that the role that young men and women are playing in these incidents tailor our programs, that they're not exclusively just for men. I think that is a critical point, that there are women that are raising our future generation. And while we have significant city resources dedicated to violence prevention and response, that they should be significantly coordinated and better utilized. So I'm proud to see so many of our service providers here with us today, as well as our community partners. It's not just about government, and we need to make sure that we have a comprehensive approach that is not just tailored to individuals and to individual communities, but will most likely tailor the individuals that we know to be perpetrators of gun violence, but also keeping in mind the relationship of their family, that everyone is connected to a family, and that's the entire family unit that we must begin to heal and provide research, not research, but outreach towards. And we also need to better realize the opportunities for employment on all sectors, not just on the ground doing construction. So without that, I'd like to bring up our Chief Suhr, who after serving as captain of the Bayview Station is now our police chief, and for a number of years he's intimately understands the challenges that we are facing as a community. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With regard to the interruption, obviously the police department's going to play a major role in that. In the first 5 months of 2012, we had 14 homicides by firearm. In the next 2 months, we had 15. So we had more homicides in the last 60 days in San Francisco by firearm than we did in the entire first half of almost the year. The shootings are the problem, the guns are the problem. In discussions with this entire group and many people behind the cameras, it's about getting to the guns and affecting some long-term change, so we're not revisiting this every 3 to 5 years. So to that end, what the police department will do, we'll take our zone strategy that's been effective almost decade by decade as we've unfortunately suffered these spikes. We're going to use real-time information through a new web-based system that the department just got in the last 12 months to get out in front of the violence. We're working very closely with juvenile probation, adult probation, parole, the district attorney's office, and more, all those in the room, to achieve or arrive at the list that the mayor spoke of. This list we don't anticipate will be larger than 200 suspects that are on parole and or probation. If you are on parole or on probation, plan on seeing a police officer, a probation officer, or a parolee every time we see you. We'll be knocking on your door. We'll be seeing if you're compliant with your conditions. And if you have a gun, I would suggest that you turn it in either directly to law enforcement, or I know that the faith community has offered to be a safe harbor. Anybody that knows where there's a gun in San Francisco, get it to somebody that can get it to us. If there's less guns on the street, we're going to have less gun violence. I know some people will say, oh, well, the people that don't use the guns are the only ones that turn them in. It doesn't matter. Many of the guns that we come across are taken in burglaries and the like. We just can't have the guns on the street. By targeting particular neighborhoods where the violence is occurring and focusing on those individuals most likely to commit the violence and or become victims of it, we believe we can get out in front of this in the immediate right now. So that's the case for the interruption. We will be blocking it. We will be working closely. I see many of our friends from the district attorney's office here to vigorously prosecute those that are in commission of crimes, especially if you are on our list. We are one list you do not want to make, okay? We will be trying to get those people back off the streets for as long as we can, whether it's in county jail, prison, and then those folks that are not on the list, we'd love to work with you, as the mayor said, to get you into something productive, positive choices, jobs, more education, again, to try and break this cycle. We will be using the same system and hopefully software that we can get to later to get, again, predict where the next violence may occur and then deploy our resources there so that we're efficient and even more so, we're not random in our application of our efforts to eliminate this violence. And then all you have to do is look at the room. It's unbelievable the amount of people that are now in the conversation, and we need to stay in the conversation. Even if this current spate of violence subsides, it has traditionally presented itself, and it'll come back. We will be tracking our list and anybody else that makes the list forever. We all know that, you go online now, you can always go and find it forever. If you make our list, we will track you in and out of the justice system. And if you leave the system forever, that's fine with us too. I might also add, if anybody wants to turn in a gun, we don't need an arrest with the gun. We just want the gun. So if again, like the mayor said, if you're worried about being proclaimed somebody who's a tattletale, that you're working with the police, get that gun to the clergy. They've offered to receive it and then get it to law enforcement safely. I don't care if we get an arrest. We just want the guns. We know who we're looking for on the other side of that. And then lastly, the mayor spoke to the kids and the supervisor. It is so important. It's an absolute fact that 74% of our prison population didn't finish high school. 82% of the crime committed in this country is committed by high school dropouts, and 94% of victims of homicide under 25 are high school dropouts. It's about finishing high school and then going on to better things. We will be working with the school district to find those kids that are most likely to be truant and/or at risk of not finishing high school, do whatever we can as an entire city to get them across the high school finish line. If we can do that, all those other numbers go away, and think of all the monies that could be productively spent towards ending violence in the long term here in San Francisco. So I can't even tell you how much I appreciate the mayor and the Board of Supervisors' leadership and all the friendship and love that's in the room. Let's make it a safer San Francisco. Really, really, really appreciate the help. Thank you.
Next, we will be bringing up the Director of Adult Probation, Chief Wendy Sill.
Yep. Thank you. The Adult Probation Department is working collaboratively with our criminal justice and public health partners to create short and long-term effective interventions to provide offenders with meaningful opportunities to change their lives, which will also reduce crime and victimization. We have to create a way out. Our public safety and community-based organization partnership will include a continuum of employment, education, housing, mental health services that will enable individuals to break the free from violence and long-term criminal behavior, disrupting the intergenerational cycle of crime. In response to the mayor's direction to immediately interrupt, we're working very closely with our criminal justice partners. But in addition to that, we've opened an office in Bayview to bring our staff closer to the population that they are here to service. That office opened on August 1st. In addition to that, through the support of the mayor and the board, we will be completing evidence-based, individualized risk and needs assessment of those probationers and post-release cases that we're supervising, and employing the use of investment of over $4.7 million in the city's money that they've invested in the employment, education, mental health, housing, and treatment. We've also created specialized caseloads for those high-risk transitional age youth, including gender-responsive caseloads so that we can meet the needs of our young men and women. In addition to that, we have an enhanced collaboration as a member of the Gang Task Force and working with Department of Public Health Crisis Response Services, and also utilizing sanctions and reward given to us by recent realignment legislation, including the use of electronic monitoring technology. In addition to that, we will be opening a community assessment and service center that will provide wraparound services, again, providing individuals opportunity to change their lives. Education and service and skill development is key for long-term change. Thank you.
Okay, I know it's getting hot in here. Hang on, we only have 13 more speakers, so just kidding, we don't have 13. I'd like to bring up to you one of our newest community partners. He's a pastor of this church. This is Pastor Joseph Bryant, excuse me.
Thank you, Supervisor Cohen. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Calvary Hill Community Church. The space that you are standing in, the space that we are gathered in is called The Rock. When we moved into this community, we wanted to have a space that would be designated for reaching our community and kids, ROCK, and how symbolic and fitting it is for us to be gathered here as we applaud and affirm our mayor and his administration for his engaging mannerism over the past several months, as myself, along with several members of our faith community, have been the recipients of his encouragement, his open door, his open heart, and his open hands to listen to our voices as we have expressed the concerns of our community in and around safety and violence in the neighborhoods. Our mayor has heard the voices of the community, of the faith community, of the labor community, and of concerned citizens, and today we stand in junction with him, partnership with him, and commitment to our mayor and to this great city that we will stand together to ensure the futures of our youth as we bring improvement of services through education, economic opportunities, employment, and all the things that make for a positive and a great city known as San Francisco. We are here today to ensure that all of those partners that stand together are unified as one. And in the spirit of our Rainbow Push leader, the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, we want to make sure that in San Francisco, for our youth and for our communities, we continue to keep hope alive. Thank you.
And in part of keeping hope alive, we have to provide an economic engine to get our young people back to work so that they're able to take care of themselves and oftentimes their family. And with that, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Eric McDonald. He's the Executive Director of the United Way. Thank you.
Thank you. So good morning again. Welcome, everyone. We are excited and thrilled to be partnering here with the mayor. What's clear is that while the unfortunate rise and peak of gun violence brings us in the room, it also presents us what we believe is an enormous opportunity. These spikes are cycles that come and go, as Chief Suhr referred to. And what we have now is an opportunity to cast a vision. We know that without a vision, people perish. And so that we can cast a vision and develop a resulting action plan that is based upon mutual respect, mutual trust, and mutual accountability. The mayor and all of our city partners to create that plan where we will engage all sectors. We will engage residents. We will engage the private sector, certainly creating workforce and job development opportunities. We will engage our faith-based community who are already providing tremendous leadership, and we will ensure that there is a coordinated, comprehensive plan that is sustained, because other things that our communities have experienced, unfortunately, is a process that brings the city in and then the city goes out, and then the city goes in, and that's nobody's intention, and yet it's the life cycle of the epidemic that confronts our community. Today we're saying we will commit ourselves to a sustained effort to ensure that we create a new vision, a new opportunity for our communities to thrive, so that in the end, there's opportunity for our young people, there's opportunity for our adults, and there's opportunities for our communities to thrive. And so finally, I'd say that the opportunity we have requires, I would offer, if I may be so bold, requires that everyone who claims to love San Francisco plays an active role in helping this plan sustain itself. It's not the city only, it's not the clergy only, it's not the nonprofits only, it's not the private sector only. It's residents, it's everyone playing a role. And I would challenge everyone in a very basic way. What are you doing today to be a part of the intervention, the interruption, and the opportunity for young people in particular to realize their potential? I believe today we can do it, and I'm honored to stand with the mayor, the supervisors, and all the city partners to help make this happen. Thank you so much.
The next man I'd like to bring up is Sululagi Palega, a man that probably needs very little introduction, but he's one of our community partners that's been helping us coordinate this conversation so that it's not solely happening in isolated ethnic communities, but that we are talking to one another. And Sulu is a fantastic representative and my brother in the Samoan community. Come on up.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Cohen. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and the chief and other city officials, and definitely the clergyman. But I want to thank all of y'all, because y'all see it every day. You are there dealing with it every day. As the chief said earlier, we need them guns off the street, because the people that got the guns are bold. The incident happened in Alice Grove. After they had shot this man, they came back and wanted to leave their mark the day before the funeral. That's bold. Knowing that the police is around, that's bold. We need to all work together, come together, as the mayor said. Let's take an effort to make sure that this is a safe city, a place we all like to live in, and a place we want to see our kids continue to play. Because public housing does house a lot of residents of San Francisco, but sometimes those kids can't even go outside and play. I'm sure the chief's got that on his mind. He's going to make sure that change. I'm sure Mr. Alvarez has got that on his mind. It's going to change. And you heard the mayor. It's going to change. So let's get together. Forget about yourself. It ain't about us. It's about them. Because you all ain't packing. I hope not. You know? Y'all ain't committing crime after hour. I hope not. Because a lot of you seem a little old to do time. You know? So I just, you know, want to make sure everybody hears it. Not only the people at the top, but all of us here at the bottom are trying to make sure this thing works. Because without our kids, we ain't got no future. You can kid yourself all you want. You got 2 contracts. When you're born, you're going to die. And hopefully, before you're gone, you have left a legacy of some people that can carry on and move it forward. Because that's what we're talking about, the future. You know, we'll all probably get to a point where we say, hey, I'm going to move, I'm going to do something else, but those kids still got to be here. San Francisco still is a resident family community. So I want to see that grow. And again, I want to thank the mayor, his staff, the chief, and the people that have been working with us, because when we got the first response, we made sure that we responded with them. So God bless everybody, and let's keep up the work. And like the chief said, if you know somebody with a gun, they ain't got to turn it in. Go to your pastor, the preacher next door, or somebody say, and just give them the gun. And let's get it off the street, because if you don't use it, somebody might beat you up and use it. All right? So thank you.
One of the critical partners that are also in this room that gets little attention is our media partners. Oftentimes, you guys are the first on the scene to report a lot of information, and oftentimes our narrative is a story of crime, destruction, and hate, and turmoil. And so we're looking to our media partners to remember that there are uplifting, positive, and exciting stories that are happening, and we look to you to respond when we send out a release. Please come and report the positive things, the kids that are going to college, the kids that are taking care of their business, that are buying homes, and that are absolutely working. This is definitely a two-way street, a partnership. So I definitely am reaching out to the members of the public and the members of the press to help us, the bloggers, the journalists, the photojournalists, the members with the cameras here today, that we are standing as one as a community, because we are all of our collective interest is tied together. And I'd like to bring up to you now and introduce to you a man named Amonte Jones. He is going to give us our youth perspective. He is the future, that of which Sulu spoke of. Well, many of us have spent our lives growing up and working in San Francisco. To put it frankly, this is just the future right here, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Amonte Jones, and I've been working for the Garden. I would first like to thank the sheriff, the police, and the PUC for the opportunity working at the Garden Project, and this is my 3rd year working at the Garden Project. And the Garden Project helped me with a lot. It helped me pay bills with my mom, and also helped me continue going to school, because it's hard. People need money to go to school, and people need money to pay bills and put food on their table. And it's real hard because my mom, she's on SSI, so I have to help her out with the money I get, and if I'm not working during the school year, I cannot help her out, and then she has to borrow money from other people and pay them back, and that's a hassle. And also, if she can't make money, then I'll probably be on the streets selling drugs, robbing for myself to put money in her pockets. But I'll also be like making a risk to get killed or go to jail, and I don't want to do that. I want to go to college and see what I could do in the future and have a good future. And I'm nervous. I'm sorry. this is my first time.
College student, right?
Yeah.
You're in college? Tell them what you're studying.
I'm a college student. I'm going to San Francisco State University, and I'm going to try to do nursing, register nursing, because that's something I'm interested in. Something I've been interested in since my brother got killed 4 years ago, and that's what made me not want to be on the wrong path, because I don't want my mom to hurt and lose another child. And that hurt my feelings that my brother's not here with me. He didn't see me graduate off the stage or nothing, and yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Not only is Amonte our future, but he's also a healer. So with that, I just want to say thank you for your time today. We appreciate everything that you have done, and we are honored by your commitment. Thank you.
Let me say something before you break. I'm Amos Brown, and as the mayor said, could I have everyone's attention? Could I have everyone's attention? I'm president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And for the NAACP, colored comes in all colors. But there's one color in the rainbow that is diminutive and almost diminished, and that is the black color. I want to thank the mayor for listening to those of us who met with him to share our perspective on what we should do collectively and not in isolation, to make sure we won't have another press conference to bemoan, to complain, to whine and cry about this problem of violence. Some don't like to hear this true statement, but the Bible says, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This community will never be free. We will never be liberated from this problem until all of our allies and our friends acknowledge that the epicenter of this problem comes from folk who look like me. I have presided over too many funerals, possibly more than any preacher in this town. Persons who were not members of Third Baptist Church, but we graciously let them have our facility to accommodate them. I feel that we have something to shout about today. No stop and frisk. The mayor has stated that. But Dr. Benjamin E. Mays, the mentor of Martin Luther King, said, he or she who's behind in the race of life must run faster in order to catch up. No, we don't have stop and frisk. But in this city, we got to run faster to make sure that there's not another death, but we're going to run fast and make sure there are jobs, run fast to make sure there's education, run fast to make sure that there is housing, to run fast so that we will love each other. This is what NAACP is committed to. And I end by saying a lot of good has been stated here. We heard some great rhetoric, some terrific ideas and plans, but this is just like getting ready to drink a cup of coffee. You can have all of the cream, all of the coffee, all of the sugar, but like Maxwell House slogan says, it will never be good until the last drop unless you stir it up and you'll be able to drink and say, it's good to the last drop. The NAACP will be stirring you up to make sure that all we've said that's in this cup will be good to the last drop.
Thank you, Reverend Brown. Let's again thank the mayor. Thank you to members of the press. Thank you to our community. Thank you to our Board of Supervisors. Thank you so very much for being here. God bless you.